All right, guys. So welcome to today's webinar. It's 3 o'clock Eastern, so we're going to get going here. We've got a special guest on the call today. His name is Drew Thomas. He is a partner and chief revenue officer for HumazeMD. And he's going to talk to us about how you can empower, or if you're not empowering or using your before and after pictures, you need to be, right, Drew?
That's right.
So he's going to go over everything before and after pictures, answer any questions that you guys may have. So if you have questions on Facebook Live, please put those in the comments. We'll be monitoring that. If you have any comments, or if you want to make any comments in Zoom, you can also do that. So either way, we're going to get things started. And today we do have a special prize for the winner. I'm sorry, for people who registered, if you stick through to the end, okay? So that prize is a free month of social media marketing and then a free month of your services, right, Drew? Am I overstepping anything there?
No, you're exactly right.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm gonna hand it off now to Lori and Drew, and I will go and monitor the Facebook questions. So.
All right, awesome.
Thanks, Gwen.
So yeah, so I'm super pumped to have Drew here to talk to us about before and after pictures, really because this is a huge part of not only your marketing, attracting people to your office, but it's also a huge part of the consultation process. And you get that person in the door. How do you actually get them to see the results that you can provide and ultimately decide to move forward with that treatment? So so we're going to touch on a couple of those things, and we're also going to talk about how you can use before and after images in your marketing. So to start, Drew, if you don't mind, I guess tell us a little bit more about you, and then if you could also just share, I guess the first question being, how can our providers utilize before and afters to attract people to their practice? How can they differentiate themselves in the marketplace with before and after? So,
absolutely. Well, I appreciate that, Lori, and thank you for having me as part of this webinar. You know, my background prior to starting this was in surgical and aesthetic lasers. So I've been in this space for the better part of 10 years, selling into plastic surgeons and dermatologists and med spas. And one issue kept coming up often. It was always before and after photos. It was either, you know, I can't access my photos fast enough. I can't share my photos with my patients. I don't have a good way of capturing my images. You know, I've got them across 4 or 5 different iPads in the practice. And, you know, if one's in another room, I can't get to it. But I have really good photos on that one, and I want to get to this. Like, it was all just a big convoluted mess. And, you know, the amount of time that it takes a practice to go and get the photos that they want to share off the EMR, print them on paper, bring them into the room, and give them to the patient, you know, that was too much, right? And the consultations were taking much longer than they should have because of that. And, you know, with all that being said, I kind of looked around and was like, this is, you know, there's got to be something that can alleviate this issue. And that's how we built HumazeMD. You know, it is really a platform that allows you to organize and showcase your before and after photos, unlike anything else out there. You know, and that's sort of how we got to where we are now. And, you know, with regard to that question about how you could utilize photos, you know, to really kind of help your practice, help market your practice, it's a really broad question, and there's a lot of answers to that. And I think first and foremost, you know, I want to share my screen with Lori if I can. I'm going to share my desktop here. Share. Can you see that?
I can, yep.
Okay, so I think this is a really impactful slide, and I put together a couple of things that we can walk through as we go. You know, before and after photos are obviously in high demand. I don't think there's anybody out there that will dispute that. But when you actually look at the numbers that are presented, it's very compelling. And these were actual graphs by RealSelf. And if you're not familiar with RealSelf, it's a great tool for patients to be able to post about their procedures, you know, from their perspective, comment on them. You know, and it's great for inquiring about procedures. But these 2 slides in particular are very important because it shows the thinking of a patient and how they interact with photos, but more importantly, how they pick a procedure. So if you look at the one on the left, what's most important about the before and after photos? Seeing someone who looks like me, you know, relevant outcomes, 28% of all these people polled, that was the highest, because somebody that goes in for a consultation or looking online, you know, if they're a 41-year-old female, skin type 2, they don't want to be looking at, you know, a procedure on a 21-year-old male or a 21-year-old female, because they just can't relate to it. And the photos don't do they don't have the same impact. Seeing a range of outcomes, including outcomes that aren't as good, you know, I mean, it's like with anything, right? Like I know that not everybody's going to have an awesome outcome every single time, every physician, right? So being able to see and compare, my expectations are kind of, they're I guess they're a little bit set at ease, because I know that, okay, you know, if I raise the bar real high and say I'm going to have every procedure and every outcome is going to look fantastic, well, if those one or two are not, you're not controlling the expectations. And I think that, you know, that has a huge impact on it. Knowing specifics about the patient case, such as age or treatment details, you know, again, that's relatable outcomes. What did they have done? How old are they? You know, what skin type are they? Is all relative with laser procedures and cosmetic procedures. Seeing the same person from multiple angles, photos that look like me where they were taken within the past year, and high quality photos. Again, these are all the things that we thought about when we built HumazeMD. You know, how can we get the patient experience to be exponentially better for a practice? That's what we took into consideration. If you look on the other slide, number of before and after photos needed for a patient to confidently choose a procedure. This is very interesting, because a lot of people just assume, well, I can show one or two photos for a treatment and it's going to be enough to give a compelling argument. Well, the reality is patients now, you know, have access to more information online than they ever have in the past. And they expect kind of a catalog of outcomes. They want to be able to see, you know, 6 or 7 at least for a specific one. But if you look at the broad scale of everybody, this graph actually shows it in a different way. It says, you know, 40% of the patients polled wanted to see between 11 and 30 photos. Because I'm reading this out because it's small print, you may not be able to see it. 31% wanted to see less than 11 photos. So, you know, given that perspective, having the ability to show either a few or as many as that patient wants to see is very important in convincing that patient that you are the person that can do the job and give the treatment results that they expect.
Now, Drew, I'm going to interject here, because I think that's super important to realize as we talk to our doctors and we get to know them. One of our big things that we rely heavily on is our account executives really getting to know each of the clients, who is their patient avatar. And I really think that having a multitude of different images before and afters, and that you're posting maybe on social media, or that when you're doing a consultation, you don't, like, to your point, you don't want to bring in the best of before and afters if it's not relevant to the patient in their own age group. You know, you got to match them demographically. That's what I'm carrying away here, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, it's, you know, if I'm 60 years old, they don't want to be looking at 20-year-olds, because I'm sure the doctor has a great outcome on his 20 and 30-year-old patients, but they need to be able to relate to them and kind of have that mental image and their own little journey in their head of, okay, I look like this, but I want to look like that. And that's that's the compelling argument.
I bet you 40-year-olds don't want to look at the 20-year-olds.
Very true. Very true. And vice versa.
I don't even want to look at a 30-year-old.
You know, and again, patients, I mean, from that same perspective, 20-year-olds don't want to look at older patients either, because you know, little tweaks and adjustments, not necessarily a full overhaul.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, another quick question on this too. So I know you're really well connected with the aesthetic space. What about doctors that are doing like weight loss or wellness programs?
Certainly.
I would assume this would be applicable for them as well.
So the way that we built this was it's really applicable for any vertical out there that uses before and after photos. I mean, honestly, if you look at this from a weight loss, we can track the entire journey of that patient, whether it was gastric bypass or some sort of weight loss pills or a diet regimen. You know, we want to be able to say, all right, here's the before photo. Here is 1 month post, 2 months post, 3 months post. I mean, literally, we can track the progression of that patient upwards of 50 different photos with 5 different angles of each of those, right? So we can literally give that patient a clear direction of what they can expect at every point of their process. Yeah. And that's not just relevant in aesthetics. That's relevant in fat reduction of any sort.
Dental, yeah, like a lot of
Hair. I mean, you look at cosmetics in general, you know, makeup, hair, anything, it's all relevant. Before and after photos essentially run the world, from construction to aesthetics and everything in between.
Yeah, no, we do have a question here on Facebook Live. What happens if you have just started and you don't have enough pictures? So it's a new practice.
Certainly, and we run into that often. One of the things that a lot of new practices tend to do is they go to the companies and they'll get stock images. And I think that's a very important tool to have in the beginning. But the patients now, you know, once you get established and you get more photos, patients kind of want to see your work. They get it. They see those injectable photos and cool sculpting photos all over the internet, everywhere they go. And it's always photo courtesy of Dr. somebody elsewhere. And the patient's looking at them going, well, gosh, I mean, if I want that outcome, I need to go see that doctor, right? So I think it's a good way to get started using stock images, but incentivize your patients to allow you to take the photos and use them in social media. You know, a lot of patients don't mind it if they black out the facial features or if you even crop out the head a lot of times. So I think that's one thing to look at.
Awesome.
So Glenn and Lori, what I wanted to also kind of go after is going through these slides a little bit and talking about some of the big deals. And I think we touched on a lot of this just a minute ago, but I don't think a lot of practices really take into account the true effects of quality before and after photos and taking it into almost the psychology of pictures and how patients or people in general engage with them. And you think about that, I mean, you know, using images, we've been using that for 40,000 years. I mean, that's how they transferred information a long time ago, and that really hasn't changed. You know, they get fed straight into our subconscious, and people remember them. You know, we're pretty much essentially hardwired to process the world in visual form.
Well, you know, there's that whole saying, you can't unsee this.
That's right.
Right.
And obviously, the cliche term.
Right. I'll never be able to unsee that.
You know, and that kind of ties directly into this, you know, and with regard to websites as well. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, I'm going to have the most informative website in the world. Well, studies show that the average person that clicks on a website is only there for, I think, 14 seconds before they decide to either progressively move forward in the site or click out and go somewhere else. You know, so how do you grab their attention? How do you get them engaged? And one of the ways we thought about doing that is obviously having that rolling feed of before and after photos. And I'll show you here some images of that in a second. But, you know, obviously, you know, going through these pictures, I mean, this slide here, increase patients' trust in your work and abilities. That's what really patients want to see these photos for. They know you do surgery. They know you do injectables, but can you do the treatment that they expect? And can you prove that you've done it in the past? You know, obviously the relatable outcomes, the next bullet point here with similar demographics, we touched on that. I mean, I think that goes without saying. And then lastly, storytelling through photos, you know, how your treatments have transformed your patients' lives. When people see an outcome, a before and after photo, one where the patient might've been, you know, I use my words carefully, obese. Right? With loose skin and sagging skin for whatever the reasons were. Maybe it was post-baby weight, maybe it was post-massive weight loss or gastric bypass. And you see that transition to, you know, the after photo. And it's just like, my gosh, like I really want to be that person. I want to have that journey and be able to now go to the pool and wear a bikini or go out in public and not be self-conscious about it. And I think that's what really hits home by having these before and after photos and really taking advantage of what you've got. Promote them. It's the easiest way for patients to instill trust and confidence in you. So Glenn, this is one of the things that we do as part of this. And, you know, the before and after galleries on a website, you know, a lot of the times they're kind of tough to navigate, right? Like a lot of times people don't know what they want. They're exploring available treatment options. They're thinking about procedures. You know, maybe it's lip injections, maybe it's a breast augmentation, a mommy makeover, what have you. And a lot of the galleries, if they're even there, are sometimes very difficult to navigate. So they have to know what they're looking for. They have to click on one, drop down, okay, here. What we built is an interactive gallery that allows patients to go there and scroll through the entire feed. And sometimes they find things that they didn't even know the doctor could do. Obviously we've got, this is just a screenshot from Renuance Cosmetic Surgery, but this is an abdominoplasty tummy tuck, and you can click on the image, which is this is an enlarged image of that. And that it's an abdominoplasty tummy tuck, and there could be other tags along with that. So it could be a breast augmentation in conjunction with, some other treatment. You get a description of the procedure, and then the relatable information: age 41 to 50, female, skin type 2. And within this page up here, you can filter by all those variables so that I can look at exactly what I want to see and be able to relate to it immediately, and not have to go search and hunt and look all over the website for it.
And so is this like, let's say you take 10 new pictures, okay? Does this automatically sync to the website so that they don't have to keep uploading the pictures, or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can take the photos however you want to do it. So that was a question we get often. I have a photo studio at my practice with a Canon D90 or Nikon D90 camera, and I've spent $20,000 on this thing. I don't want to use anything else. Totally fine. I don't care how you do it, whether it's an iPad, iPhone, or on a camera. Upload the photos directly to the HumazeMD platform. You tag them with age, skin type, gender, brand, and treatment. You can crop them. You can edit the photos. You can black out features. When you make a photo public, it goes automatically to your website without having to do anything else. So you literally control your gallery yourself or your staff.
Cool. Yeah, that's really helpful. I like that.
Absolutely.
I'm sitting here wondering, when's Facebook going to shut down our live stream here if we're doing before and afters, because they're so against it.
That's right. So I'm gonna move on from those then. The other part, Lori, that we were talking about within that is how to market the photos and how to do it well. It's all about social media too, and there's still some discussions on that in plastic surgery. Posting the photos. I've seen a lot of activity with some leading physicians that we work with that post their photos often, and the interactions that they get on those are much higher than the text posts, because again, people relate to it. They see the transformation and they're like, that is amazing. And it may not be for them that they want a procedure, but they know somebody that they can say, hey, you need to check out practice A. You need to go see them because their stuff is amazing. And a lot of people don't put a lot of weight on posting to social media because it's either difficult or it's a nuisance or it takes time to get the photos together. Well, we built a platform to be able to manage that as well. So within the application, you could post those outcomes directly to social media to speed up that process, and they're watermarked, so you don't have to worry about people stealing them.
The one thing that I guess I will point out on this, because sometimes people get confused on a social media post and a social media ad. So we definitely encourage people to post before and afters. And in our case, like when there are clients, we're doing it for them. Now, when you try to boost that post or run a paid ad to that, those typically will not get approved by Facebook because they don't allow before and after pictures. So for any of you that have tried to, let's say you're an admin on your page, you post a before and after picture, it gets tons of engagement because the results are amazing. And then Facebook will say, hey, do you want to boost this post for $20? And so then the doctor does it, and all of a sudden the ad gets denied. And that's only because before and after pictures, you can do them as posts, but you cannot run them as an actual paid ad. So just so you guys know.
Good to know. Thank you, Lori.
Sure.
And one of the questions that we had talked about prior to this, Lori, was how to speed up consultations and how to improve that workflow in the practice and engage with the patient. And there's a couple of ways to do that, which I'll go through two of these. And kind of leading back to what I was saying earlier about trying to find those before and after photos. Right, you're sitting there with the patient, they're engaged with you. You're talking about a specific procedure. They may or may not know everything that you offer, but they came in for, let's just say, Botox for the forehead. They came in there for that. They're talking with you. They say, all right, well, show me some photos on somebody relevant to me. And, a lot of offices kind of sit there and stutter and say, okay, let me go to my iPad. And they pull out the gallery and they're scrolling through and they're like, oh, I got this great one. Hold on. Oh, here's the before. In
here somewhere.
Yeah, here's somewhere. And then they're like, hold on, let me go find the after, because it's, the after photo was taken a month or two later. Again, we're trying to maximize the time that patient has in your office. like not wasting time with you having to go find photos in the EMR or find them on the iPad. We want to be able to find those immediately. And part of that is with these mobile device consultations, using the mobile app to access your gallery, to be able to filter by all those variables and have the multiple angles, swiping through, the before and the after. It helps speed that process along, because patients, they don't have a lot of time. They get frustrated. They want to see photos. They want to know about the procedure. They want to have it, but they also, they might be inclined to upsell too. So when the physician or when the esthetician or the consult is going along and they say, have you ever thought about doing lips at the same time? We can easily add that in with the Botox, or patients are scrolling through the feed and saying, well, gosh, how much more would it be to do this? Can I do this? Do I need a separate consultation for this? How's that going to work? So having all those photos at your fingertips to be able to show them all the procedures that you offer, I think is very important.
Well, or even like just looking at this one right here, it looks like this patient had 3 different treatments done. So maybe I'm coming in just because I want to know about a laser treatment, and then the before and after, actually that patient has had some other things that might pique my interest in those other things, that because now I see this result. Or you could show a result of somebody that just got the one thing versus someone that got it in combination with something else.
Certainly, combination procedures today are, it's the best way to get the best outcome. There's no doubt about it. With all the technology out there, combining a laser and combining cool sculpting and injectables all at the same time, if the patient can afford it, their results are going to be phenomenal. Or they can spread it out over time. But for them to understand that this outcome clearly defined is just Botox, this outcome clearly defined is Botox and Restylane and Juvederm. Like, there's no doubt in their mind that you're trying to trick them. Right, that's the last thing like people want to do, is look at a photo and say, all right, what was really done? Because this looks like it was more than just a tummy tuck. I'm seeing a lot of stuff, and the doctor's like, no, that's full tummy tuck. That's everything right there included. So it helps in the confidence.
What I love about that too is that it's, we always tell our clients and educate them on how, they're low-hanging fruit, so to speak. The people that they can get to try the new procedures, the new device they purchase, things like that, that's going to be their current patients. And, whether that current patient is, they're what is it, Lori, 70% more likely to try something new that, that their doctor or their esthetician is able to provide to them. And so I think when you're looking at that, you can definitely use that as a way to increase revenue. By adding on procedures, things like that. So that's very smart.
And I think to add to that, one of the things that we did for all of our users is they get their own unique QR code, which is a direct link to their gallery. So again, this was important for one. We had this prior to COVID, but now even with COVID out there, it makes it even more relevant. Patients, when they're in the practice, when they're sitting in the lobby, they are typically looking at their phones. I've sat there in lobbies in practices for hours and just watched people. How do they interact? What are they looking at? What do they pick up? What do they touch? And the one thing that was consistent is they're always on their phone. I don't know what they're doing on their phone, because I didn't look at that.
Don't want to know.
They're on it, right? And seldom will they walk over and pick up a brochure, because I think what I've seen is they're concerned that other people are going to see them pick up a brochure on fat reduction, or pick up a brochure on liposuction, or, something else, because they're like, I don't want people to know I'm looking at that. Right. So what we did originally was have this QR code link in the lobby where I can pull out my phone, open up the camera, hover over that QR code without a QR code reader, nothing like that, and be able to link directly to that gallery. And now I'm looking at all the photos that are there. So I came in for Botox, but now I'm seeing Botox combination procedure with lip injections, or Botox lip injections, laser, and cool sculpting. And that's the point where I'm saying, hey, I came in here for Botox, but I just saw on my phone that you offer this too. How much is it to add that to it? Right. So that's
well,
like,
and I think too, Drew, because we think about this all the time too, being in our space and marketing, and a lot of the people are on social media, right? They're just they're just passing time on social media waiting for their appointment.
Yeah,
Or they may be even back in the exam room now waiting for the physician or the provider to come in. They're
certainly.
scrolling through social media. So having these before and after pictures as part of their marketing on social media as well is another place that they're going to be able to see those outcomes. Because at the end of the day, it's all about, if you want to attract patients to your practice, you have to be positioned as the local expert that can provide the best results. So having results as part of your overall marketing is a huge part of it. So I think not only the QR code here that people may just go right straight to, but having that incorporated into the office's social media marketing
Yep.
is going to capture a lot of that attention as well.
Yep. Absolutely. And then some people will ask, well, how do I get the QR code out in the lobby? Right. So like what we tell a lot of them is at check-in, when they walk up to the counter, the receptionist just politely says, hey, pull out your phone, hover over this QR code and see the outcomes. And we can do it. We just set up a 5-physician practice in Savannah that they've got each of their own profiles for each physician. So now I can go in there and look at just a specific doctor's outcomes, because maybe that's who I'm going to see. I don't necessarily want to see everybody else's. So, if you guys are online and have your cell phone in front of you, open up the camera and hover over that QR code. You'll see an example of Bill Cortez's outcomes. But now, kind of going back to the COVID part of this, it's even more relevant now for this, because in times past, a lot of people were using flip books, brag books. They'd have this little, a printed book in their lobby. Patients can flip through and kind of see all the outcomes. Well, one of the big problems with that is they're typically old. They've been sitting in there for, 10, 15 years. The outcomes haven't been updated. They haven't bought a new book.
Like the menu at the restaurant that's never been washed.
That's right. I don't want to touch
Pages are sticky and
100%. And now, a lot of offices are trying to create that sterile environment. How can I make patients feel more comfortable? And a lot of stuff is going digital, right? They don't want to be touching books. They don't want to be touching flyers. There's just a lot of things that are going on right now, and having this really helps engage with the patient while they're kind of in their own time in your lobby. There's nobody talking to them, nobody telling them what to do while they're sitting there. This just helps with that.
Awesome.
So some of the things that we have talked with some practices about, effective marketing strategies, what people are doing, and we touched on this a little bit before. But we get a lot of a lot of input from physicians. Kind of what are they doing? We're seeing a lot of their social media. We're tracking a lot of it, just watching Instagram and Facebook. And the obvious one is get patient consent first. And a lot of people say, well, my patients don't allow that. I think it's a conversation to have with them at the onset, and maybe it's talking about blacking out the eyes or even cropping out the head entirely, along with tattoos and things that can identify them. But then incentivizing them as well. Hey, if you let us share your before and after photos on our website, we'll give you a free treatment or a free product, something like that, to get them kind of engaged. And then obviously posting before and after photos to social media often. We touched on that before. And then the next thing is, which a lot of people don't think about, is send the patient's own outcomes directly to them. So within our app also, you can actually take that patient's before and after photos that are tagged and watermarked and branded with the practice name, and text or email or airdrop them directly to the patient. So when they leave that office, not only do they have that awesome outcome, they're happy with the practice, but they see their outcome and they can track the journey. So after treatment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many it was, and this is really relevant with tattoo removal. So they know, okay, I came in, I forgot how dark my tattoo was on day 1. Everybody does, right? I forgot how much pigment I had in my face when I came in. I'm only seeing myself now in the mirror going, that's pretty good. It could be better. The reality is it was really dark when you first started, and now it's much better. And to be able to show them that, the wow factor just goes through the roof, because they look at their own photos and they go, oh my gosh, I forgot how, geez, I forgot.
It's funny. It's so funny you say that, Drew. So I'm thinking so I have melasma pretty bad. I've suffered from it maybe for like 5 years. And I had a Pico laser treatment done. I think I had 6 treatments, and I have my before and after pictures. I show everybody those pictures. And so this here, send the patient's own outcomes directly to them. That is so smart, because people will, when they see their own results and see such a huge difference, they want to show people.
Certainly. Friends, family. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had a procedure done and people ask me about it. I mean, one, I post every time I do anything, and I've done a lot of stuff. 10 years on the device side, I think I've tried every single laser out there and recorded a majority of them. But the reality is a lot of these people don't know that these treatments are available. You know, quick story, I had a friend of mine that had a college tattoo on his ankle of his fraternity, and he had no idea that he could get rid of it with a laser. And we actually took him into an office for a demo and let them treat him. And then he was like, well, what about the next 8 treatments? And I'm like, that's on you. But, at least we're teaching people that, these treatments are available, and then to share those with their friends and get those photos out there.
And that's word of mouth. I mean, that's word of mouth as good as it can get, really, right there. If somebody can show, hey, here's the results. I know for me, I'd be like, hey, okay, I want to go to your doctor because A, I trust you, and B, I want those same results.
Sure.
So we have a question here on Facebook. And I replied on Facebook already, but for before and afters that are more sensitive, for example, vaginal rejuvenation,
right,
what's the appropriate way to showcase them? Would social media even be an option? So real quick, my answer was social media would not be an option for those. It'll get shut down quickly, but maybe patient testimonials, how the procedure has changed my life, not the actual demonstration of the procedure and or before and after pictures of the procedure.
And I think the before and after pictures, certainly in the consultation process.
Yes.
So once that patient comes into the office,
Sure.
That is definitely something that we've seen our clients, especially like people that do like labiaplasties and things like that. Those before and after pictures could be used in a consultation process, I think, really well.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things with our app also, you have the option of public and private photos. So you can have an entire database of private photos that you only use that are accessible by any logged in device. So that means every staff member in your practice can log into the account and have access to the public and private photos. That way, when you're doing a consult for vaginal rejuvenation, it's not on your website. It's not on the QR code. People can't accidentally go to them. Your son sitting in the room can't scan that code and then be looking at those also.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have that functionality, and that's exactly what you were saying. We've got offices that have them on there that will use them in consultations. It's a little bit more private, a little bit more intimate scene there, and you can kind of have discussions about certain nuances of it. But yeah, I mean, for the website, you'll see them on there. You don't see them often, but yeah, I mean, I would use those for in consultations primarily.
Right.
The other two things, just thinking out loud here, Drew, of other places I think people could use before and afters also is in their email marketing. So, we always encourage our clients, you should be doing some kind of newsletter or e-blast every month, showcasing before and after in your own email marketing. Again, I think people would much rather see your results than a stock photo from the company. And then also on your Google My Business profile. So we talk about that a lot and how important Google My Business is for ranking you high in search when people are looking for. So let's say they're looking for mommy makeover. If you have mommy makeover images posted on your Google My Business photos and you have them named, let's say Mommy Makeover Detroit, as the name of that image, that's going to help you with your search engine optimization. And also when people go there, they're able to see before and afters right on Google. And sometimes, I don't know if any of you have ever done like a Google search where you're just searching for whatever it is, and then I just want to see pictures. So you go to images, your pictures will also show up, which will help you with your overall attraction marketing for people that don't know who you are yet.
Certainly. And that's one of the things that we took into consideration. I didn't know all those factors. So thanks for enlightening me, because now I know a lot about that. And I didn't prior. Those same cases that we have in your profile, you can download the photos almost as if it's a Dropbox, right? They're stored there with the original and the edited version. So you have them at any time. You can download the entire file set, or you can share that that image with the before and after, with the doctor's name, the practice name, the treatment, the brand of the device used or surgery, depending on how it was done, and save those and post those directly to Google as an image, right? So you've got your entire pre-done before and after like image with everything on it. You don't have to do any additional work. That's what we're trying to do really, is streamline the day-to-day activities and minimize the workload from everybody on staff. Make it easy.
Simplify.
Yeah. And I think, Lori, did you want to touch on like reviews? You know, because I think one of the things that we had also gotten with this is, you know, as you're sharing these outcomes, you know, and patients are seeing their journey and actually being able to really relate to it, kind of what we were talking about earlier, see the before, see the after, and understand, you know, where they were and where they are now. You know, they're a lot more, I guess, compelled to give a good review online.
100%,
And you know,
yeah.
we don't do reviews. We're not built for that. But I didn't know if you wanted to touch on kind of your thoughts on reviews.
No, I think that's a really good point. And I think that that is important as to why you need to be doing these before and afters, because we look at ourselves in the mirror every day. You know, and I sign up for 6 sessions of a laser treatment, and I'm looking at myself every single day in between there. I'm not going to see this like stark difference than if I go in after that 6th treatment and I get my before and after pictures from day, you know, treatment 1 to the end of the treatment. I'm thrilled. You have to be asking those people to leave a review. And I can tell you, if you ask them, people will do it. And especially if you make it easy for them to leave a review. So maybe you send an e-blast to those people afterwards with their picture and then a link to leave you a Google review and how much you would appreciate, you know, so that you can reach more patients and help more patients in your local market achieve those same type of results. So I think that's a really good point that you made, Drew, is yes, reviews tie in with this as well. So that's why, I mean, why we wanted to have you on here is because this is such a big part of marketing and really the sales process too, and getting patients to, you know, take that step, not just, you know, be interested, but actually take that step to get the treatment. And then, like you said, that can even circle back to the end of, it can help you with your reviews, which ultimately also helps you be positioned as that local expert, having more reviews and better results than anyone else in your market.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's great. Yes, I mean, that from our perspective, you know, that's essentially why we built this application, you know, to really help the practice improve the way they interact with patients, and to be able to share their outcomes and bring more business in, and have that patient, you know, by the time they go to the website and see the before and after photos, see a description about it, you know, find something that's relevant to them, come into the office, scan the QR code, see those same images and maybe more, and then add in additional treatments that they didn't know the practice offered. Because again, I've walked into many offices and sat down and I'm looking around the room and I'm literally going, I have no idea what you guys do here. Like, obviously I know you're a plastic surgery office, but you know, if you're trying to sell me, I'm a captive audience. You have me. It's like going into a movie theater and watching the previews. There's a reason why they do that. Like, everybody thinks, oh gosh, I do need candy. A big Coke would be good. Because you gotta get to them right there. And the problem is that you walk in there and you're like, all right, I don't know anything about you guys, but I'm just going to come in here and have my Botox, you know. But it's like you can literally show them everything you offer with just the simple QR code in that process, and make it a lot easier, more effective.
Yeah, no, I love it. Glenn, do we have any other questions, or should I go through and announce? So we do have a winner for those that pre-register, and those of you guys that are on our webinars every week, you know, we always entice you with some kind of a freebie. So we've got, I think, actually kind of our best one, because it's a 2-for-1 this week. Drew, if you don't mind, can you stop your screen share real quick?
Yep, absolutely. Stop share.
All right, cool.
Yeah, as of right now, there are no other questions in queue here, so.
All right, let me pull this up. Okay, so you had to pre-register in order to be on the list. So this particular office, Arcadia Women's Health and Cosmetics Surgery Center, you guys are the winner, and you're gonna win not only 1 month of free social media marketing with us here at Medical Marketing Wiz, but also a free month of the HumazeMD platform. So we will reach out to you if you're not on live, because I know a lot of folks end up watching the recording, especially since everybody's back to work now, which is a good thing. We'll make sure to reach out and connect you with Drew and his team so you guys can get that going. So congratulations. Couple other things, just make sure that you guys are members of our private Facebook group. It's called the Dr. Marketing Blueprint. Drew, I actually need to add you to this as well. You could definitely contribute to it, but this is free. You don't have to be a client to be in this group. Essentially, this is filled with like-minded providers, not just aesthetics. We've got functional medicine, we've got women's health, we've got urology, a variety of different specialties, but it's all people that are passionate about growing their practices. Our account executives for Medical Marketing Wiz are also in there, and we post kind of VIP content for people in this group. So you can scan the QR code here, or you can just go to the Medical Marketing Wiz Facebook page, go to groups, and you'll see that Dr. Marketing Blueprint group, and you can just request.
And Lori, just real quick, our winner is on Facebook Live, and so she's celebrating right now.
All right. Woohoo!
A big thank you. So
That's
Melanie,
awesome.
we will be in touch with you soon.
All right. Very good. Congratulations. The other thing is we will do a strategy call, and I'm sure also Drew and his team would be happy to give you guys a demo of the HumazeMD platform. In the replay, we'll send out a link to Drew's contact information as well, so you guys can set that up. But we do a free marketing strategy call. We take a lot of time putting these together, and we take a deep dive into your marketing. So if you want to look at some of the things like your local SEO, your reputation, social media feedback, and really just like having someone to take a look at what you may or may not be doing right and wrong, we're happy to do that. So you guys can sign up for that with us. And then lastly, if you want to just learn a little bit more about what we do at Medical Marketing Wiz, we have a program called the Dr. Marketing Blueprint. You can learn about it here. And we're excited to have Drew on. And so the other thing that I would say is that we are really trying now on these Wednesday webinars to get key thought leaders across the medical space on these. So we have coming up, we're going to have an accounting firm who specializes in accounting for physicians come on and talk about cash flow, talk about tax strategies. We've got another speaker that's going to come on and talk about how to add hormone therapy to your practice, how to get certified, what does all of that look like? We have some folks in the legal realm that may come in and talk about things like, what do you do if you have a patient that's bullying you online, and what do you do about them? So our goal really now is to, obviously our passion is marketing, but we really want to be a resource for you guys on all the other things that that keep you up at night. And so definitely make sure you guys continue to tune in on Wednesdays. And as always, we always record these. So if you can't make it, we'll always send out the replay. So anything else, guys?
No, I don't have anything else, and there's no further questions. So unless
Awesome.
Drew, you have anything?
No, I'm good.
No plugs? Come on.
So awesome. Well, thanks again, Drew. This is great. Super informative. I'm excited to have hopefully more of our clients utilizing this because it helps us.
Absolutely.
It helps us with our marketing. So,
And by the way, congrats, Drew, on completing your first Facebook Live ever, right?
Yes.
Yep, this is officially my first Facebook Live.
All right. First time for
Awesome. Very good. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll
Thanks,
see you
Lori.
next
Thanks, Lori.
week.
All right. See you later.
All right. Bye-bye.